And then last but not least, Mark has a testimony.
Thank you. I've been forewarned, brevity is the soul of wit. So I have just a couple things to share with y'all. We're in a very precarious time in our country. And the other night I went to the American Jewish Conservatives meeting, which I go to quite frequently. And I go because I'm making relationships with Jewish folks who are politically conservative. And a bunch of Christian folks show up there, but it's predominantly Jewish folks, conservative Jewish folks. And I got into a conversation with what they call an influencer, a guy named, he's an Orthodox rabbi, Pesach Walecki, who's part of the Israel 365 group and some other things he's doing. He's doing a lot of stuff politically. And I want to dispel a rumor because at this point in time, social media is a two-edged sword. There's some good stuff about it and some really wicked stuff about it. And there's a lot of rumors that are being spread about Charlie Kirk and his anti-Semitic comments, anti-Israel comments, anti-Zionist comments. And you have to understand, there's this thing called AI, not the AI after Jericho, but another AI that's kind of similar. Achan, read about Achan. The point being, you're going to watch all sorts of videos that this young man has put forth, and just be discerning because a lot of them are going to be the lies from the pit of hell. So be very discerning when you watch what you're going to see. Now you're going to also be able to see a bunch of wonderful stuff. This young man was used in a tremendous way, and his life was giving glory to our God and King Yeshua the Messiah. And he really loved Israel, and that's what Pesach was telling me. He was actually dialoguing with him back and forth because Charlie was trying to understand exactly what was going on over there. So just a day before he was taken to be with the Lord, they were texting back and forth. They'd had lunch a couple weeks before that. Someone had taken a photograph of them at lunch, and then they took that photograph of Pesach with Charlie Kirk, and they started spreading around. See, the Israelis are the ones that took out Charlie Kirk. I mean, so this is the kind of garbage you're going to see. So I'm just forewarning you. Watch out. It's out there. Okay, the second item is in looking at some of these little videos, little vignettes that Charlie had seen. The old expression, an old dog can't learn new tricks. I learned a new trick. And it was just a short little video, and he made this statement. He said, this is a recommendation that he has for each and every one of us. And I took it to heart. And it was, one of the best things you can do as a husband is wake up in the morning and look at your wife and say, darling, is there something I can do today that would make you happy and make me a better husband and a better father? And you know what? I took it to heart. And so about 3 or 4 days ago, I went up to my wife and I said, Margaret, is there something I can do today to be a better husband and a better father? And without hesitation, she said, yes, you can listen to me. You can listen to me. And I went, really? But you know what? I was listening to her. at that very moment, And it took it to heart. And the next morning, I got up and I got with her again and I said, darling, is there anything I can do to be a better husband and a better father? And I added grandfather because I'm a grandfather. We're grandparents now. And as I was, she was kind of smiling now. You know, she's going, well, are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. And I said, well, you know what? I was trying to explain myself. I was trying to explain why I hadn't been listening. So now I'd had 24 hours to kind of get my excuse. I said, you know, here's what I'm going to do. When I've been listening to you in the past, I was kind of listening in an analog type of a way. And lots of times I wasn't on the channel. I had some other interference. You know, remember the old analog radios? Well, I was kind of listening and half listening. And, you know, our wives know when we're listening, even if we're pretending like we're listening. But if our minds are on half a dozen other things, we're getting all this interference. I said, but darling, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm converting to digital. I am now going to listen to you on a digital wavelength and focus in on what you have to say and try and be a better husband, father, and grandfather. So I've learned something and I'm applying it. I even asked her this morning if there was something I could do to be better. And she said, yeah, be here on time to hear the message.
And he was.